how can I avoid the passive voice? It's a mistake to try to use grammar as a means of fixing a problem with narrative technique, but that's exactly what you are doing and what the advice to avoid the passive voice is telling you to do. Fix a problem with your narrative technique using a grammatical construction. You can use grammar, and you can even use specific words to identify potential problems with your narration or your technique. If the geese get too noisy, I'll subtitle. So what I was saying was, it's possible to use grammar, it's possible to use vocabulary as a means of identifying where there might be problems. But each occurrence of a word or of a particular construction must be examined on its individual merits. And in narration, the merits of a word or a sentence are evaluated according to how well they achieve your intended effect on the reader. Imagine a story, if you will. Imagine a story where the main character is a girl who is being bullied and harassed at school. At the beginning we learn that it had been hard going for some time through what we call a set-up tell, which is common in short stories. So it goes like this. She had been called the worst names you can think of. Been tripped and shoved in the schoolyard, had her bag stolen, had her clothes torn, been spat on, punched, kicked, thrown to the ground, and beaten. This is all passive and completely necessary because the narrator voice, in this case, has to focus the reader's attention on the main character. I've seen authors try to avoid the passive in examples like this and end up with nonsense like kicks and punches hit her. Sure, that's grammatically active, but who's doing the hitting? Now, suppose that she reports her experiences to a trusted schoolteacher, and we learn the following. She let it all flood out, and he listened, stony-faced, as he was told about all the abuse that she had suffered. Told doesn't need to be passive in that sentence. It could just as easily be, as she told him. And many editors would probably suggest this change. But there is a good poetic or dramatic reason to use the passive voice here. Because as the girl unburdens herself, it is as if he is reliving her suffering. So the passive voice colours the reader's impression of how the schoolteacher is reacting. And so it remains a matter of choosing the form that best achieves your intent. Finally, be aware of false passives. Here's the example. She was bewildered by the way the adults treated her. This is not a passive. Do not change it to adults treated her bewilderingly. And not just because you have the word bewilderingly, which is very difficult for me to pronounce in my natural accent. That sentence is actually, I'm going to go back, adults, she was bewildered by the way adults treated her. It's not really a passive, it's just a description of the person. It's just another danger of trying to fix your narration, trying to fix your technique of storytelling by recourse to specific grammatical constructions. So, as a general rule, think more carefully about how your sentence is going to sound and the effect it's going to have on the reader than about the specific grammatical constructions that you have used.